Quiet month right now for boxing. We had obviously the Garcia fight at the beginning of the month, but we do have a really interesting fight coming up here March 27th in Dallas. It is Vergil Ortiz taking on Maurice Hooker. Vergil is someone I've actually interviewed because his father trains Chris Cyborg. I do a show every week with Chris Cyborg, so Vergil was a great interview when I got a chance to speak with him. But do you think he's the next boxing superstar at 147? I mean, he's definitely looks like he has, the potential, but what are you thinking?
Is this fight confirmed? So this is confirmed. The date is set.
March 27th in Dallas.
Okay, well, I knew that. I was just making sure it was confirmed. But yeah, I mean, Vergil, I've watched him now in person, I would say about 3 times now. I've watched him in person. I've got to meet him. Oh, funny thing is, actually was with his father 2 weeks ago at the fight in the fight that we read at the Devin Haney-Ryan Garcia fight. A good friend of mine, Ali Setback, introduced us to each other, and we got to really talk. And yeah, he just followed me on Instagram, actually, Vergil Senior. But no, cool dude, cool dude. Very thought out in the art, in the boxing art. But he's taught his son well, and Vergil's dangerous, bro. He is very, very dangerous. I think that yes, he has huge star potential all over him, and I think that kind of. Remember when Mikey Garcia was coming up, and Mikey Garcia was kind of like, I feel like he's kind of like on that trajectory because he can knock a guy out, he can box, he can do a lot of things, but we haven't really, and people haven't really got to see him really box. He's a really good boxer more than he's just a knockout guy. People think he's just a knockout guy, but the angles and the punches he throws, I mean, I watch all of that. I've watched him live 3 times, and he's the real deal. And Maurice Hooker is a friend of mine. So Maurice moving up to 147 and taking this fight is giving Vergil an opportunity, and he's giving another kid from Dallas. They're both from the city, so he's giving another kid from the DFW area an opportunity to be able to get a big fight versus a former world champion. And then also this helps. I don't know why Maurice is taking this fight because I'm sure there was more fights he could have took, but I guess. With this, whatever his promotional situation is now, because he's bounced around a little bit, whatever the situation is now, I guess he's just gonna make the best out of it by fighting this guy. And we had Progress versus Hooker, that got ruined. You know what I mean?
Thanks, COVID.
Yeah. So I guess this is his best option to date.
Yeah. No, for sure. We've seen someone that, Vergil has ties to, in the past in Ryan Garcia. What will it take for him to get to that Ryan Garcia, superstardom? And granted, this is something we talked about, I think, in the last episode about Garcia tapping into that YouTube market. Like Garcia just has played it perfectly. I think Ortiz has that potential, but what do you think?
I don't think Vergil has the same pull as Ryan does. I don't think he has the potential to even have the same pull as Ryan does. I think Ryan has tapped into a whole different market. I think that he's a combination of YouTube, Instagram, and just like TikTok. He just comes from that world. Like he's molded from that world. Granted, he's a fighter first, so. He comes from that. Vergil comes from hard, old school Mexican, style, dad's Mexican guys. Like, he's a Texas Mexican. It's a huge difference between a Texas Mexican and a California, guy who's Mexican, who grew up in a different area. So I think that, yeah, like the cowboy boots, the hat, like the whole thing, like Vergil reminds me of that. He like Mikey Garcia had, it's like it's very just core to Oxnard, California. While Vergil is core to Texas, to Arlington, Fort Worth, Texas. So he represents and embodies a Mexican from Texas. You know what I'm saying? So it's 2 different kind of. But from a pure standpoint, from a fighter standpoint. Vergil is a problem. He's a real problem. And I'm talking about like maybe honestly, I'm only thinking of maybe 4 guys I think that can really test him and really, really the rest I think he could beat. And this Maurice fight, I just hate the fact that Maurice is coming from 140 to 147 to go fight this guy. That's the part I don't like, but we'll see, man. And also, the guy that Maurice fought last, Ramirez, is Josh Ramirez. Ramirez is the champion at 140. He has 2 belts at 140. Jose Ramirez is trained by the same guys who train Vergil Ortiz.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a bit worrying for me, because the guy who's training him is Robert Garcia, and I know this guy, and it's Mikey Garcia's older brother and trainer. So and I was at the fight when Maurice fought Ramirez. We were at the fight, Hooker versus Ramirez. We were right there, and the way Ramirez did it, you know, it was good the way he did it. You could tell it was a good game plan, and he was able to stop Hooker. So I feel like Vergil will do the same or even worse, because there's already a blueprint. They watched it, you know. So that's my opinion on that.